Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Senior to Seniors, the podcast dedicated to helping older adults like me live healthier, happier, and more fulfilling lives. You know, many people enter retirement believing life will suddenly become easier, yet, for countless seniors, retirement brings unexpected challenges, less energy, changing identities, new health concerns, caregiving responsibilities, and the question, what's next for me? Today's guest has dedicated his life to helping older adults answer that question with confidence, with purpose, and vitality. Roger Hawkins is a certified health coach through the prestigious Dr. Sears Wellness Institute, a member of the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, wellness educator, speaker, and creator of the Three Circles of Vitality framework. For more than 7 years, Roger has worked with adults in their 60s and beyond through classes, public speaking, group coaching, and one-on-one coaching as well. His mission is simple but powerful, helping seniors regain energy, improve their well-being, develop healthy habits, and create a life filled with purpose and filled with joy. Roger's passion for this work was born from personal experience. After years of focusing on his son's battle with addiction, he discovered that the stress and emotional burden had quietly depleted his own physical, mental, and spiritual health. Through mindfulness, lifestyle medicine, 12-step principles, and intentional habit change, he transformed his own life, regaining his health, restoring his energy, and finding renewed peace and purpose. Today, Roger helps others experience what he calls a second bloom, a season of growth, vitality, and fulfillment later in life. Through this and his unique Three Circles of Vitality framework, he teaches seniors how to strengthen their body, renew their mind, nourish their spirit, and create sustainable habits and support long-term wellness. Listen, if you've ever felt stuck, if you've ever felt exhausted, overwhelmed by life's challenges, or simply wondered how to make your later years your best years, today's conversation is for you. And so please join me in welcoming wellness coach, educator, speaker, and advocate for thriving at every age, Roger Hawkins. Roger, welcome to my podcast.
Thank you, Jim. That was nicely done. It's very impressive.
Well, you're a little bit impressive yourself, and I wouldn't be able to say all that if it weren't the truth. And so we have a lot to talk about because we're both, or at least I'm a senior. I'm guessing you are. What point of
Oh
your
yeah.
life are you,
I'm
Roger?
I'm in my mid 70s.
Okay, so I'm going to be 72 in July, so we connect, and we even have some Iowa connections. Roger went to Coe College in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I lived an hour from Cedar Rapids, and we attended about the same time in the 70s, so we have that in common. Um, Roger, tell me what inspired you to focus your coaching practice specifically on older adults, those that are 60 and beyond, boomers, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like you said, I'm in my mid 70s, and so I myself I understand the challenges and some of the challenges and opportunities of this time of life, and my own health transformation that you outlined so well, better than I ever could, um, has really showed me how to live into the future in a
Mhm.
way that I hadn't thought of before. When you're, you know, when you're, when you're faced with an impending death, your own.
Yeah.
And as we age, we become more aware of our impermanence. There's more at stake.
Mhm.
That's one way of looking at it. And I know that some are like some folks just kind of like crawl under the rug and aren't ready to move into the second bloom, as I call it.
Yeah.
But it's a gift to be able to look at yourself. I really give a lot of grace to people who can look at death and say, I'm not done yet. I'm ready to go. I got more to do." And that's sort of for me, that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my family's experience with addiction and recovery has really taught me that the importance of healing the whole person is critical. And so I'm out to help people like myself, boomers,
Hmm.
to increase their vitality and their uh, um, you know and their meaningful contribution to society and their families and so forth, like that.
Sure. Yeah. And, we have, as seniors, as boomers, we have so much to contribute. And, I see so many seniors who just seem to have given up, to forget the contribution that they can actually make that's important to people and important to them as people, not giving up, not stopping, not uh, going into loneliness and being by themselves. We have so much offer. And you've worked with seniors in classes, you've done group coaching and one-on-one settings. What are the biggest wellness challenges you see people facing after they enter retirement?
Well, clearly there is a loss of purpose,
Yeah.
and after leaving a career where you've been, especially a career where you have been busy and full of activity, and maybe you've been supervising people and doing deadlines and all of that, and then suddenly that's gone,
Hmm.
and your whole identity is like shifted. What am I supposed to do now? So there's that. Um, I see a lot of declining health in every way: energy, strength, vitality, mobility. And it has a lot to do with a way of thinking. The way there's isolation, like I don't, like you said, I just, I really don't feel like doing anything. I'll just stay in bed and
Yeah.
crawl away. And so we lose our social connection. And so uh, there's a sense of aging means decline. I think that's the way of thinking that
Hmm.
is it's an anathema. It's the spiral downwards.
It really
Um,
is. Yeah. And I think about it every day. I thought about it today. My wife exercises a lot, and she showed me an exercise that they were doing in her classes today. And I thought, as she did it, I thought, how many of us fear decline, but there's a way that we don't have to decline. But she's an example by being active and so forth. And so you see that the biggest wellness challenge, maybe what people face, is maybe identity. Do you think that's a
yeah,
huge part?
it's right up there. I think that it's, when you're the way you experience yourself is how your behavior is going to lead from the way you experience yourself. And if you experience yourself on a downward spiral, your habits and habits and your behaviors just kind of go along with that. So yeah, I think that I'm all about trying to help people form that new identity. Uh, that it's a new way of saying this is who I am.
Hmm.
And some people I know like to work from the outside in and say, you should do these exercises and eat this way and all of that, and there is a place for that for
Hmm.
sure. But I think it's you're working in and out. You're working on the inside too. You're working on, like the looking at what's holding you back from what are those limiting beliefs? Which is a term thrown around a lot, I know, but it's what are those limited beliefs that's actually limiting my growth, limiting who I say I can be.
Hmm. Hmm.
One of I have the three circles of vitality for me is mindfulness, healthy life, growth mindset, and healthy lifestyles. And growth mindset is essential. You have to, you know, there's a believing that change is possible, and and you continue to learn and grow.
Yeah.
It's just critical because if you and we can do things to increase our the brain so that it increase the brain neurons that will that will help us grow. And that's what we do is work on those kind of activities and those kind of thinking, things you say,
Hmm.
how our languaging.
Hmm.
I haven't learned that yet. This the word yet
Hmm.
tells our brain. It tells our brain that I'm training my brain by using the word yet. You think of anything, I haven't figured that out yet, or I'm not, like I'm, I don't know how to yet,
Hmm.
or it begins just opens up a whole new world of possibility, rather than a world of I call it isness. The world is the way it is. It
Hmm.
just, like I am the way I am. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it or leave it, that's the way I am.
Well,
That's a fixed mindset.
and I think so many people settle for that. But so you're talking about when you work with people with your three circles of vitality, the framework,
Hmm.
which is body, mind, and spirit, as I
Yeah.
understand it. Um, when you're talking about the mind, are you talking about, when you work with people, dealing with the subconscious, with how the subconscious works? How does your framework? How does it work?
I'm working, well, I'm not sure what the unconscious, I mean, it's something I don't want to, it's not very psychoanalytic.
Yeah.
But it's the mindset is I'm really more interested in how people move through life, in this world of impermanence,
Mm-hmm.
our life of impermanence, how you move through life and seeing that as a gift. And so that, impermanence really is the energy of hope. And with it's if we and we all know deep in our gut that we all know that life is impermanent, but
Yeah.
we so fight against it, we so resist it. So that's one piece of it. Mindfulness is managing stress and increasing awareness so that we are aware of the things in our life, of the of everything around, things that are going on around us and within us, being mindfully aware and living intentionally.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
and then, and then there's also the healthy lifestyle, which got that where we all started. Where I started was thinking of, if I do this, if I change my diet this way and or if I exercise, I will be better. And that is certainly part of it, but there's so much more.
So, your journey actually, as you mentioned, started with your son's addiction, right?
Yeah.
And as I understand, ultimately led you to discover a new purpose in helping others reclaim their vitality for life. But
Yeah,
you had to do it first,
yeah.
right? So how did you do it? Did you do it? I mean, was it a sudden ability to realize what you needed to do and so forth? Oops, I got something going here. Let me just stop something here. Let me just do this. All right. I'm sorry, I had a call that was interfering. It happens every time. But so you had to reframe everything. I'm guessing through
Hmm.
your son's addiction. I had a like experience, but tell me how uh, you discovered a new purpose in helping others through your son's addiction.
Yeah. Um, I had been so used to my managing my son's addiction. I was in denial around it. I just didn't think it was there. I thought it was going through some teenagedom
Uh huh.
thing,
Uh huh.
and so there was one day that he called, and I won't go to the whole. He called and he said something. He talked, and I realized he was lying. I couldn't any longer escape from the truth. It wasn't there anymore because
Uh huh.
he was lying. And I realized that I had been lied to. Both my wife and I had been lied to for years.
Yeah.
And life changed at that point. I hung up and I realized all the time that I had been spent, all the love and energy that I'd been putting out towards him. We, our account, we lost our IRAs over, help thinking we were helping him,
Yeah.
and everything was gone. And I realized that it was all, it was done. And I realized I had to start taking care of myself.
Mm.
I began to realize that, I'm the one, rather than worrying about him, I had to deal with me. Um, he was going to, whatever was going to go on with him, it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I had to take care of me. And that meant changing that at that time. It was change, I was in a support group in Al-Anon, and I was doing, I started doing meditation, and I started getting in an exercise regimen. And I changed my diet to whole food, plant-based diet, and I started exercising. And God, I lost 40 pounds. I, my doctor took me off my blood pressure medication and
Mm-hmm.
cholesterol medication, and and I had tons more energy. And I realized this can really, other people should be able to do this.
Yeah. I see.
Um, and uh, I'd spent my life in education, and so that's what I want. But now I really had a different purpose in life.
Mm.
It was like, oh, this is something this is life changing.
Yeah. So is that the time you became certified as a health coach? Was that the
Yeah,
beginning of it all?
yeah.
And so
Hmm.
you really took the bull by the horn, so to speak. You drew a line in the sand, I guess. You moved on. You became a certified health coach and became a member of the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. And so you had to change your lifestyle. Uh, what lifestyle changes had the greatest impact on, do you think, on your longevity and your quality of life? What were those lifestyle habits that
Well,
really
like I said, I think exercise
okay,
hugely exercise,
okay,
and um, and well, for me, it was a whole food, plant-based diet, or medit. Some people, are not quite gung ho. They go do a Mediterranean diet where,
mm-hmm,
but it's lots of fresh fruits and vegetables and nuts uh, and grains and but it's really getting taking away a lot of the all the ultra processed foods. It's amazing, like how much garbage there is in the all of our processed foods have become part of our habits, and it becomes part of who we are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it becomes part of how we think and how
Yeah,
I think how our brain works. So, you adopted exercise, diet, meditation,
yeah,
to really impact your future life, what's going to happen, your longevity and your quality of life. And
let
then
me
you
just
talk,
say, yeah, I'm go ahead.
n-
You
well,
let me just say, it's not like I said, oh, I'm going to change. And so, let's see, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this, you know, but there was a sense of this, sense just kind of happened. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a willpower kind of change. What happened was, when my son, when I realized my son's addiction, I no longer had the sense of, my how should I say it? My sense of love
mm-hmm,
has completely transformed. There was a detachment that I was a detachment that I could have with him, and it became so freeing that I could love him. I mean, I could love him and not. It was a different kind of love. I could love him and then not be codependent with him.
mm-hmm,
And when there's that going on, then you're kind of left with, oh, wow, this is a whole new experiencing myself in a different way.
yeah,
And I just sort of like, I think I would like to do some exercise. I think I'm going to try this whole food plant-based diet. And so I'll take classes in that.
mm-hmm,
This is something, it didn't seem, it wasn't a, oh, I'm going to figure this out.
yeah, yeah, because you didn't have it figured out.
Right. No, I was making it up as I went along.
Yeah, yeah, and you had to, and it had to do. It must have been about mindset. You must have developed and found a focus on mindset, and I think
Hmm.
that has to do with the success of any of us, whether we're in business or whatever we do.
Yeah.
So, how does our thinking, our mindset, how did it influence your physical health, your emotional well being, and your ability to thrive? How do you think mindset? Do you think it was the most important ingredient of
I
it all?
think so because it's what provided my mindset is what provided the impetus, allowed me to move on,
Yeah,
and not be debilitated by the circumstances. Look, thought influences the stress hormones and inflammation in our body.
yeah,
It's there. The science is clear about that,
hmm,
and so we change our thoughts, we change our life. Um, our beliefs, our beliefs help shape our choices and our habits. The science again. The science is that a hopeful mindset, an optimistic mindset, a mindset for growth improves resilience and recovery.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and like I said before, identity, who I experience myself to be, is what drives my behavior. I experience myself as a different kind of. I experienced myself. I wasn't sure, couldn't quite define it at the time, but I experienced myself very differently, and it just automatically drove the behavior to exercise and to create dietary changes.
Well,
Yeah, we just act consistent. It just falls. We act consistently with who we believe we are.
yeah. Well, and maybe who we want to be, and to do that, you had to develop new habits, right? You were. It sounds to me like you were a mess, like so many people.
Uh-huh.
You've given so much to your son that you neglected yourself. So, habits can be difficult to change at any age. But
Yeah.
I don't think changing habits gets easier as you get older. So, for those seniors that know that habits, they need to change habits in order to, find the three circles of vitality in their life.
Yeah.
What strategies did you adopt to be able to find breaking habits and to be successful with that?
Well, um, I think that you just have to start with small achievable changes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, admittedly, I jumped full head first into the pool with whole food, plant-based, everything. It was a major change, but you don't have to do that. I think transformation happens in small incremental ways. You know, you, you connect your habits to your personal values and your purpose,
Mm-hmm.
your mindset, like who you experience yourself to be. So you build consistent routines based upon rather than relying on willpower, just building up routines. Like for example, um, there's a great technique called habit stacking. If you want to like a new habit that you want to do, if you stack it on top of a habit that you already have, like every time I brush my teeth, I just take 5 deep breaths. Just do 5 breathe. So
Mm-hmm.
that way I get into the habit of do some deep breathing after I brush my teeth, for example.
Okay. Okay.
So it's you want to create a system whereby you don't have to rely on willpower, because willpower is good to an extent, but it's it can't be counted on in
Sure.
the end.
Yeah. So habit stacking
Mhm.
is what helped you
Yeah,
develop those habits. And
yeah,
you talk about a simple one. So I'm guessing, and then after you take the deep breaths, then maybe the next thing is that you eat a nutritious breakfast, and then maybe it's going for a walk for an hour, and then it's stacking on top of that. So,
yeah,
you can really focus on, the things that you talk about that you found are important: the body, the mind, and the spirit. So tell me, how can seniors strengthen those three areas that you focus on of body, mind, and spirit? How can they strengthen them all? And would you recommend they do them all simultaneously rather than separately, or how do you describe the best
well,
approach?
yeah, I think you can, there's no one size fits all here. You can, um, whether it's start with what's accessible to you. If like doing exercises is accessible, if that's something that you can like figure you can
You can
do,
do. Mm-hmm.
you can, start there. Start creating an exercise, a habit exercise, um, or a habit of exercise. Or if you think, oh, I'll try meditation. Try like a 3-minute meditation. There's a great meditation uh, 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 app called Insight Timer that has just all kinds of all kinds of meditations on there, and for all different lengths of time, different kinds of meditation and everything. Maybe try get an app that helps like that.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Or maybe what's accessible is doing some reading about mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and maybe change, and actually, but actually taking exercises to actually help you, like I said, using yet. Try just a little bit of that, using the word yet.
Mm. Yeah.
Um, Another thing to do is to celebrate your progress. Celebrate your progress, and because rather than trying to seek perfection, I got to do it right. Just regardless of where you're at, just celebrate it
How
and that you're on
how
your way.
how would someone celebrate?
It may be just like, yeah, hey, I did it. I
Mhm.
I I took 5 deep breaths after my toothbrush,
Uh-huh.
after brushing teeth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
It may be just a thought in your head that you're good for you.
Yeah.
And I think that another thing that helps to develop the growth mindset is being thankful for other people's progress, not just your own.
Mm.
But look at other people. Look at what they've done. Great. That's
Mm-hmm.
awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you mentioned celebrating other people, but also expressing your own gratitude for others. Gratitude statements.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah,
um,
yeah. That's
you know.
good. Right.
Uh,
Gratitude is one of those things that greases the wheels. Everything works better with gratitude.
yeah,
Everything works better in gratitude.
yeah, yeah. I found the practice of, writing affirmations,
Uh-huh.
writing gratitude statements,
Yeah.
are all helpful in pointing in the right direction for my life, especially when I was working and I was overwhelmed with work and with problems and with stress. And we even have those as seniors, even if we're not working. There's still all those things that are part of our life. They might not be job related, but they might be body related. They might be health. They might be mind. And even our spirit,
Yes.
as you mentioned. Retirement, I found that retirement leaves people often searching for purpose. And I think that word, the word purpose, is what I have found in 4 years of living in a retirement community. I live in a community that I'm surrounded by other people, um, all adults, all senior adults in a Del Webb community here in the Dallas, Texas
Huh?
area. And one of the things
I'm
that
sorry, where are you?
in the
The
Dallas,
Oh,
Texas
okay.
area,
Uh-huh.
and one thing I've noticed just in my community is almost the lost sense of purpose. So what advice might you give? What advice have you given, as a coach to others, who have lost direction, in lost their purpose after maybe leaving their career? I mean, so many of us, we put everything on our career. Our career becomes who we are, and we adopt that. So when we don't have it, and we don't have a purpose, um, a lot of people have lost that direction. How do you help people who have lost their purpose?
Well, it's I think for one is to don't worry about it.
Okay. Yeah.
Seriously, it's how I don't mean to be glib or anything, but it's um, purpose isn't something you go chasing. It's something that it emerges through your activities, and when you're working on yourself, um, when you're working on yourself, on the three circles of vitality, for example. If you're like taking whatever is most accessible to you and consciously and intentionally doing this, that becomes your purpose. There's not it's a different kind of purpose than many people have been used to, where they have to meet schedules and
Mm-hmm.
be, have meetings and so forth. But it's
Mm-hmm.
certainly uh, when the joy that you can have by the joy that you can have by that can emerge from your own work on yourself is immeasurable.
Maybe finding your purpose through discovery. Yeah,
Yeah,
finding your
yeah.
purpose.
I think that if you go looking for purpose, you won't find it.
Yeah.
It
Uh-huh.
just won't happen. It's like, that's you could say the same thing for happiness, or it emerges from what you do with your life, what you are doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one thing I wanted to talk most to you about was your theory, your thoughts about what you call the second bloom.
Uh-huh.
And it's your one of the quotes that I read from you. It's never too late for a second bloom.
Yeah.
And I think part of your purpose is emerging right now in what you call the second bloom. I know it's going to be. It's been an important part of your coaching and your life, and I think it's going to take on even a bigger emphasis in your life. Talk about what the second bloom is and why my listeners should adopt that thought and maybe even looking into how they can discover the second bloom by working with you. Talk about
Yeah,
it.
thank you. The second bloom is, I refer to the second bloom as what you're growing into. That thing that new way of experiencing yourself, that it also it becomes your purpose. It becomes a new source of joy. It becomes a new bloom for your life. I'm putting together a private Facebook group that I'd like to invite people to. It's called Second Bloom Rising.
Mm-hmm.
And there we're going to be, it's a private group, so it's just us getting to doing, activities and conversation around for, for second bloomers.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
boomers who are doing second bloom. So, um, and I have a report that I can send out, reclaiming your energy after years of worry and caregiving, where it kind of, I think it explains a lot, talks a lot about this very kind of thing you're talking about.
And
Um,
yeah, and not to interrupt you, but for just so people know, in order to get your report, in order to communicate with you, of course, I'm going to have it in the show notes. So I don't want people, leaving their computer, leaving the show right now.
yeah,
But people can reach you by email at roger@rogerhawkins.net. Is that correct?
that's right.
And so for the report, they can reach out to you for the report.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask you to send me the report. I'll reach out, and so if they reach out to me, I will do the same. And so what this is going to be a Facebook group, and are you going to commute or communicate on Zoom? Are you going to do it through videos? Are you going to have gatherings through um,
All of it.
all
All of
of
it.
that? All of
Yeah,
that.
all of that. Yes.
And is there a cost for people to
No.
become part of this?
No, no,
Yeah,
no. It's no cost. It's just show up and participate, and there will be opportunities for programs. There will be opportunities for Zoom. There will be opportunities for all kinds of things that you can in conversation. It should be a pretty exciting group, I think.
yeah, yeah. Do you have a book planned or anything like that?
Not as of yet. I should, huh?
Yeah, I think you should. Well, I think, you're. You talk about focusing on body, mind, and spirit, and the three circles of vitality. But I think the second bloom is something that curious enough, even for an ebook, for people to be able to grab onto and to learn more about it. I love the sound of it, and love what you're trying to do, and especially am happy to hear that you're finding a way to contribute. To
Yeah,
find a new way to contribute through others
thank you.
through your Second Bloom Facebook page. So listen, we're at the end, and I ask all of my guests. I never prepare them for this question, but I ask them. There's got to be one thing that I should have asked you, Roger, or one
Uh-huh.
thing that you were hoping that I would ask you to give you the ability to express your thoughts on it. If there's one thing that I should have asked, what might that one thing have been? Can you think of anything off the top of your head?
Um, you've covered pretty much a lot. We've uh, I think uh, I think that people might want to know, okay, I get the idea of what you're talking about, but what are three things that I can actually do?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I sort of touched on that, but like, I would say move around for 20 to 30 minutes a day. Just
Just movement.
move.
Yeah.
And try and then practice 10 minutes if or 5 minutes. Pick a amount of time, be intentional about it, practice mindfulness and gratitude,
Yeah.
and um, and then um, make one nutritional change
Mm. Okay.
that connects with um, someone who lifts your spirit.
Yeah.
Just one nutritional change connected with that connects with who you want to be.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned spirit, connect with somebody with spirit, and you can share yours with them. I think that's one thing, right? Somebody could do. You have so much to give, even though you might not think that you do. Especially I can think in my neighborhood where I live, there are a lot of single adults here. Somebody that's lost their spouse. Well, what could you do for that one person today? What could you contribute to them today
Yeah,
to if you're looking for purpose, oh gosh, there's a purpose where you can
yeah,
reach out to and
yeah,
actually make a difference. You're going to do it through, your Second Bloom Facebook page, where people will be able to talk about these things and so forth. I put together, when I was in the real estate business, and I practiced every day. I kind of talked about it, but I had a specific sheet that I worked on and taught my agents to work on, which you wrote down gratitude statements every day, 20 if you could, as many as you could think of, gratitude statements, affirmations, and positive things like I am powerful and I can help people today is an affirmation. I am strong and I'm getting stronger is another affirmation, and it goes to the subconscious. It's all part of this. So I would write gratitude statements, affirmations, and then intentions. What intentions might people have today where they can get to that next place of even focusing on their body, focusing on their mind and spirit? And so you brought a lot of light to me today, and I think to my listeners as well. And I think you have a lot more to contribute through, Second Bloom. I'll be part of that community, and hopefully can contribute something and not take from it, but add to it. And I'm so glad you were here today.
well,
Um,
thank you very much. I've really enjoyed being with you.
Well, thank you for your thoughts. And listen, everybody, if you got value from today's podcast, which, of course, if you're listening to it on Spotify or Apple or iHeart, it's also going to be put up on YouTube as well, so you can watch it. Share it with someone. If you want to contribute today, if you want a purpose, maybe your purpose today is to share a positive outlook on life with people by sharing this podcast. Monetarily, it does nothing for me, but I think it can help you maybe live a better life and maybe help others live a better life as well. So share it if you would. And again, I'm going to have Roger's information on my page. So reach out to Roger and become part of his community. And I can see you there, and we'll get together then. Roger,
Great.
thanks again.
Thank you.
I hope we talk again. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, I think we are done, and let me just make sure it's still recording, Roger. So let me see if I can get the record button.